What a weekend! What an absolutely extraordinary weekend for Manchester United. And if you're not already subscribed to United Daily Update, you need to hit that subscribe button right now and turn on those notifications, because what we are witnessing at Old Trafford under Michael Carrick is nothing short of sensational, and you do not want to miss a single second of this remarkable journey. Michael Carrick has done it again. The interim manager who stepped in after Ruben Amorim's dismissal has just masterminded one of the most stunning victories in recent Manchester United history. Arsenal at the Emirates. The league leaders. 13 games unbeaten. And Manchester United walked into their fortress and ripped their unbeaten run to shreds with a performance that will be talked about for years to come. 3-2. A dramatic late winner from Mateus Cunha in the 87th minute. Patrick Dorgu with an absolute thunderbolt that nearly broke the crossbar. Bryan Mbeumo continuing his sensational form. And a tactical masterclass from Michael Carrick that has sent shockwaves through the entire Premier League. This is not just a win. This is a statement. This is Manchester United declaring to the football world that we are back, we are dangerous, and we are coming for everyone. Stay with us until the very end of this broadcast, because we are going to break down every single moment of this instant classic, and I promise you, there are revelations coming that will absolutely blow your mind. Like this video. Share it with every United fan you know. And let's dive into one of the greatest away performances we have seen from Manchester United in years. Let me take you through this game from the very beginning. Because this was not just a victory. This was a statement. This was Manchester United declaring to the entire football world that under Michael Carrick, something special is happening at Old Trafford. The match started with Arsenal dominating possession, as you would expect from a team that had been unbeaten for so long. They pressed high. They moved the ball with precision. And in the 29th minute, their pressure paid off. But here is where it gets frustrating for United fans. The goal that put Arsenal ahead was not a moment of brilliance from the opposition. It was a mistake. An own goal from Lisandro Martinez. Patrick Dorgu failed to clear Piero Hincapie's cross properly. Bukayo Saka pounced on the loose ball and whipped in another delivery towards Martin Odegaard. The Arsenal captain tried to shoot, but he hit it completely. And then, under pressure from Jurrien Timber, Lisandro Martinez made a hash of his clearance. The ball bounced off his heel and rolled into the net. 1-0 to Arsenal. Now, here is where this Manchester United team under Michael Carrick showed something different. Something we have not always seen from United in recent years. They did not panic. They did not crumble. They regrouped. They stayed calm. And they kept believing in the game plan. Just 8 minutes later, in the 37th minute, United were level. And this goal was a gift from Arsenal. Martin Zubimendi, the Arsenal midfielder, made a terrible mistake deep in his own half. He lost possession close to the penalty area. And Bryan Mbeumo, who has been absolutely sensational since joining Manchester United from Brentford last summer, was there to capitalize. Mbeumo took the ball around David Raya with the composure of a seasoned striker. He slotted it into the empty net. 1-0. And the traveling United fans erupted. Because this was not just an equalizer. This was a signal. A message. Manchester United were not going to roll over. They were here to fight. They were here to win. The first half ended with the score locked at 1-1. And you could feel the momentum shifting. Arsenal had controlled large parts of the half, but United had weathered the storm. They had shown resilience. They had shown character. And when those players walked back out for the second half, you could sense something special was about to happen. 5 minutes into the second half, it did. 52nd minute. Patrick Dorgu. The Danish international who joined United from Lecce in 2025. The man who had already scored against Manchester City just a week earlier. He produced a moment of absolute magic. Bruno Fernandes and Dorgu exchanged passes in a beautiful sequence of one-touch football. The kind of football that gets you off your seat. The kind of football that makes you fall in love with this game all over again. And then Dorgu let fly from outside the box. The ball rocketed off the underside of the crossbar and crashed into the net. 2-1 to Manchester United. The Emirates stadium fell silent. The United fans went absolutely wild. And Patrick Dorgu had announced himself as one of the most exciting young talents in the Premier League. This was his third goal in January alone. The man has been on fire. He has been electric. And under Michael Carrick, he has been given the freedom to attack, to express himself, to be the player we always knew he could be. For the next 35 minutes, Manchester United defended like their lives depended on it. Arsenal threw everything at them. Bukayo Saka was causing problems down the right. Martin Odegaard was orchestrating attacks. The pressure was relentless. And it looked like United might just hold on for a famous victory. But then, in the 84th minute, Arsenal found their equalizer. Mikel Merino scored to make it 2-2. And for a moment, just a brief moment, you could feel the hearts of United fans sinking. Had we thrown it away? Had we let a golden opportunity slip through our fingers? Michael Carrick made a substitution. He brought on Mateus Cunha, the Brazilian forward who joined United from Wolverhampton Wanderers last summer. A player who has struggled at times to find consistency. A player who has shown flashes of brilliance but has also endured criticism. 3 minutes later, in the 87th minute, Mateus Cunha silenced every single critic. Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo worked the ball to Cunha just outside the Arsenal penalty area. And the Brazilian, with David Raya off his line, curled the most exquisite strike into the top corner. 3-2 to Manchester United. The celebration was pandemonium. Absolute pandemonium. The United fans in the away section went berserk. The players mobbed Cunha. And Michael Carrick, standing in the technical area, allowed himself the smallest of smiles. Because this was more than just a goal. This was vindication. This was proof that his methods, his man management, his tactical acumen were working. Manchester United held on for the final few minutes. The referee blew the whistle. And Michael Carrick had delivered back-to-back victories over the top two teams in the Premier League. First Manchester City at Old Trafford. Now Arsenal at the Emirates. 2 teams. 2 wins. 6 points. And suddenly, the conversation around Manchester United has completely changed. Let me talk about the individual performances, because there were some absolutely outstanding displays in red shirts yesterday. Harry Maguire was immense. The captain received a rating of 8 out of 10 from multiple outlets, and it was thoroughly deserved. He was dominant in the air. He made crucial blocks. He organized the defense superbly. And remember, this is a man who had spent the best part of 2.5 months on the sidelines before the Manchester Derby. To come back and put in 2 consecutive world-class performances is testament to his professionalism, his fitness, and his determination. Luke Shaw also received an 8 out of 10. The left-back had to deal with both Bukayo Saka and Noni Madueke at different points in the match, and he was more than up for the challenge. His defensive positioning was excellent. His recovery runs were perfectly timed. And he gave United an outlet going forward as well. This was the Luke Shaw we all remember from his best days. Focused. Fearless. Bryan Mbeumo gets another 8 out of 10. His goal was crucial, but his overall performance was even more impressive. He took his goal with the composure of a natural finisher. He caused problems for Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba all afternoon. He tracked back to help defensively, and he has now scored 9 goals in all competitions since joining United. That is an incredible return for someone who is still adapting to a new club, a new system, and the pressures of playing for Manchester United. Mateus Cunha also deserves an 8 out of 10. He came off the bench and scored the winning goal, but his contribution went beyond that. He held the ball up brilliantly in the final minutes. He drew fouls to relieve pressure. And he showed exactly why Manchester United were so keen to sign him from Wolves last summer. That goal will do wonders for his confidence. And if he can build on this performance, United have an absolute gem on their hands. And then there is Patrick Dorgu. 9 out of 10. The highest-rated player on the pitch. And it is easy to see why. That goal was spectacular. An absolute thunderbolt. But his all-round performance was equally impressive. He created chances. He tracked back to help Luke Shaw deal with Bukayo Saka. He won his duels. He showed incredible athleticism and quality. The only concern is that he had to come off in the 81st minute with what appeared to be a hamstring issue. Michael Carrick played it down after the match, suggesting it might just be cramp, but United fans will be nervously waiting for an update. Because if Dorgu is out for any length of time, that would be a massive blow. Bruno Fernandes had a solid game. 7 out of 10. His assist for Dorgu's goal was sublime. That quick interchange of passes, that understanding, that vision. It was everything we love about Bruno. But he was also guilty of some poor passes in the first half. He tried to force things at times when a simpler option was available. But in the moments that mattered, he delivered. And that is what great players do. Kobbie Mainoo also gets a 7 out of 10. The 20-year-old midfielder is still growing into his role, but you can see the quality. You can see the composure. You can see the confidence building with every game. He was instrumental in the build-up to Cunha's winner, and his defensive work was excellent. This young man has a very bright future. Casemiro, another 7 out of 10. The Brazilian veteran did what he does best. He broke up play. He made crucial interceptions. He cleared his lines when needed. And he provided that shield in front of the back four that allowed Mainoo and Fernandes to get forward. Diogo Dalot had a tough afternoon against Leandro Trossard and gets a 6 out of 10. He kept the Belgian relatively quiet, which in itself is an achievement, but he was not as effective going forward as he usually is. Lisandro Martinez also receives a 6 out of 10. The own goal was unfortunate, and he could have handled Victor Gyökeres better at times, but his typical terrier-like defending was on display. He threw his body on the line. He won his tackles. And despite the own goal, he was a net positive for United. Sen Lamens, the goalkeeper, gets a 7 out of 10. He made 2 excellent saves from Martin Zubimendi and Bukayo Saka. The only criticism is that he got blocked off for Arsenal's second goal, but overall, he was solid and dependable. Ahmad had a quiet game and receives a 5 out of 10. He delivered 1 or 2 dangerous set pieces, but his impact in open play was minimal. This was a rare off day for a player who has been excellent in recent weeks. Benjamin Sesko came on as a substitute and also gets a 5 out of 10. He had a difficult cameo. He got hit on the head with his first touch and then found himself in the middle of a goalmouth scramble when Merino's shot crossed the line. It was not the impact he would have wanted, but these things happen. Noussair Mazraoui came on late to help shore things up and does not receive a rating due to limited minutes. Now, let me step back and talk about the bigger picture here. Because what Michael Carrick is doing at Manchester United right now is genuinely remarkable. 2 games. 2 wins. 2 of the best teams in the Premier League defeated. Manchester City and Arsenal. The reigning champions and the current league leaders. And United have beaten them both in the space of a week. This is not luck. This is not a fluke. This is good management. This is tactical preparation. This is man management of the highest order. When Ruben Amorim was dismissed after the draw with Leeds United on January 4th, there was uncertainty around Old Trafford. The season had been turbulent. Results had been inconsistent. And there were serious questions about whether this squad was capable of challenging for a top 4 finish. Michael Carrick has answered those questions emphatically. He has restored belief. He has restored confidence. And most importantly, he has restored pride. The players are playing for him. You can see it in their body language. You can see it in their effort levels. You can see it in the way they celebrate goals together. There is a unity, a togetherness, a collective spirit that had been missing for much of the season. Carrick has also shown tactical flexibility. Against Manchester City, he set United up in a way that neutralized City's strengths and exploited their weaknesses. Against Arsenal, he adjusted the approach. He allowed his attacking players more freedom. He encouraged them to take risks. And it paid off spectacularly. The decision to bring on Mateus Cunha when Arsenal equalized was inspired. A lesser manager might have panicked and brought on a defensive player to try and secure a point. But Carrick backed his attacking instincts. He believed United could win the game. And that belief was transmitted to the players on the pitch. There are still challenges ahead. This is only Michael Carrick's second game in charge. United are still in a battle for a top 4 finish. There are still weaknesses in the squad that need to be addressed. And Carrick himself has made it clear that he is only here until the end of the season, with a permanent appointment to be made in the summer. But right now, in this moment, Manchester United fans have every reason to be optimistic. They have every reason to believe. Because under Michael Carrick, this team is playing with freedom, with confidence, and with quality. The Premier League title race has also been blown wide open. Arsenal were 13 games unbeaten before this match. They were looking imperious. They were looking unstoppable. And then Manchester United came to the